Hello everyone, today I'm going to give you an insight about phaser technology. Phaser is a framework which allows you to create a game for HTML, meaning any web browser. On the phaser.io website, you can find many details on how to get started, as well as many examples of the games made with Phaser. Since Phaser is an open source technology, you can always find many examples to use and learn right from their website. The Phaser library is also available to download here. In order to understand Phaser, you need to already have some experience about programming and coding with HTML and JavaScript. You don't need to be an expert. Just with a basic knowledge, you can work around well with Phaser. In order to start coding, first you need the basic tools. Sublime Text or any other script writing program you prefer. A web server, I recommend MAMP since it works well with Windows and MacBooks as well. For the web browser, sometimes Safari and Google Chrome can be a little hard to work around, so I highly recommend to use Firefox. First and foremost, you will need to make sure to create the files correctly. So first of all, you create the index.html file. In this file, you always have to be sure to link the Phaser library as well as the JavaScript file, which pretty much will be your game. Important tip, always make sure to put the Phaser library on the folder of your HTML and JS files. Phaser pretty much has a standard structure, which you'll be using constantly. I personally even have it already saved as a template whenever I want to start coding. First, it's the variable game. It pretty much sets the canvas of your game and the render. In this case, we just use the standard auto. Then we have the main functions. Function preload, which is where you load all the files we use to run the program, such as image, sounds, etc. Function create, it's pretty much the game itself. This is a canvas where you will start drawing your game. Well, not actually drawing, but coding. You know what I mean. Function update, it's pretty much on processing changes and updating according to time. As an example, here you put the code for when you press a key or click or even if you need to animate something. As an example of all I explained about the basic structure, I will show you how it actually works. I will start by something simple. Let's just change the background and add an image. If you're a newbie and quite new to HTML and JavaScript, there are websites which provide you with snippets, which is pretty much the line of code for the commands you want to use. You can also use the example from the phaser.io website. Also, there's plenty of examples available on GitHub. First, I will start with the basic command of changing the background color. Since this is something I will be putting on the canvas, it is something I shall put on the function create. So here we go. Now let's save the file and open it on Firefox. There you have it. Now let's say you want to add an image in there. First, the program needs to load the image before we can actually put it on the canvas. It's pretty much as if I need to bake a cake. First, I need to gather the ingredients so I can actually put anything on the bowl to mix it. So in this case, let's say the image is an egg. In order to have it, I need first to load it into the function preload. So here we go. See here that it's important that you know the parameters of the code. In this case, first I set a name to this loading, let's say star. Then I must add a directory, which is pretty much the image's file name. Before we add it to the canvas, we need to give this image a name, so the program actually knows what I call that file. For that, we create a variable. Let's call this one shine. Now we can actually put it in the canvas. So here at function create, I add the code. Again, we need to pay attention to the parameters, which are the x and the y, and the name we set it on the loading. So in this case, star. So now let's test it. And there you go. We have a star. Now let's say I want to use a keyboard to move the star around. Since this is something that will change during the game, the program has to be updated of when I press the keys, right? So this is something that we add at the function update. Since this is a longer line of code, I'm going to use the snippets. First, I'm going to create a variable for each key. And now at the function create, I'm going to add those keys to the program. At last, on the function update, I will set what I want to happen when I press the keys. So if pressed to the right, the X goes higher. And if pressed to the left, it goes lower. Great, it works. But that's it for today. This is Phaser Technology, guys, and I wish you good luck and have fun.